We're going to begin today's practice actually lying on our backs. So we're going to sort of start in Shavasana and end in Shavasana and get a whole full circle journey along the way. So lie back and relax. For those of you just popping in, I just saw a bunch of more people arrive. We're just about to start, so perfect timing. So lie back, get a little comfortable. You're welcome to have your knees bent, feet on the floor, legs stretched out, soles of the feet together, knees apart. Find a comfortable position for yourself. Let your palms spin up, open up your arms, maybe rock your head a little bit side to side. We're not going to stay on our backs too long here. Just enough to tune in, quiet down, and begin to open into the hips a little bit. So find your position, let your eyes close, let your top and bottom teeth separate. Oh crap. Sorry, I need my mic. You probably couldn't hear me very well. Let your top and bottom teeth separate. Relax the muscles of your face. Relax the muscles of your body. Just let yourself settle and drop back. Begin to notice your breath here. All the breath is in and out through the nose. Long and smooth breaths to help you tune in even more. The breath becomes the link between the mind and the body. Use the breath as an anchor to feel the body, to feel this shape, this breath, this moment in time. Knowing that it takes a little time to arrive and to settle, so be patient and gentle with yourself for sure. When you feel ready, reach your arms back, reach your feet forward, take a little stretch. You might want to wiggle a little side to side. And then bending the knees, take the feet on the floor. And then just draw the right knee into the chest. You can take your hands to the right shin, give it a little hug. And then we're just going to cross the right ankle bone on top of the left thigh. So threading the needle, right? That's what we call this. Right toes flex to protect the right knee. Left foot can stay on the floor if you're already feeling something in your outer right hip. Otherwise, it can float off the floor, or you can hug the left leg toward you. Make sure the back of the neck stays a little long, chin toward the chest. Keep the breath flowing. Smooth and even breath, just to tune in to how this shape is feeling. Let yourself be fully present. And then releasing the left leg, uncrossing the right ankle. Hug the left knee into the chest for a moment. And then go ahead and cross the left ankle bone on top of the right leg. Left toes flex back to protect that knee, right? Maybe you stay here. It doesn't have to be the same on both sides. Maybe the right foot hovers. Maybe you hug the right leg toward you, to the shin or behind the hamstring. Back of the neck long, jaw relaxed, breath flowing smoothly and evenly. How does this shape feel? Just notice without judging if you can, right? That's a challenge, isn't it? You're just observing and exploring without any judgment, because every day is a little different. Go ahead and let go of the leg, uncross, and then bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees drop apart, and just go ahead and stretch the arms back one more time. Take a nice big inhale, let the belly fill up. And let the breath go. Let yourself settle and soften. Inner shoulders relax. Belly hugs in here at the bottom of your exhale to draw the knees back up. Good. And then you can just sort of windshield wipe the knees a little side to side, loosen into the hips a little bit more. You can open up your arms, just a moment or two. And then rock over to one side with the knees. Use the top hand to press yourself up, and we'll make our way to hands and knees. So just a short time on our backs there. All right, so when you get up to hands and knees, if you want to have blocks for your practice, I like to have them handy. They're not necessary, but if you know you want to give yourself a little extra support with a block or something that can lift the floor higher to you, feel free to grab that. We're not going to use it just yet. All right, hands and knees, and let's just cat-cow. So heart comes forward as you inhale, gaze forward, but soften the forehead. And then rounding the back as you exhale, press the floor, draw the belly button up, dome the upper back. And again, inhale, heart forward, gaze forward, hug the shoulders back. You can kind of pull the hands toward the knees. And then rounding on your exhale, drop the head, open the space behind the shoulder blades, and press the floor away from you. And then come to a flat back, but still loop the shoulders back. Lift the belly button, feel the core support you here, and then step one foot at a time to the back of the mat for plank pose. Now, if this is too much, knees drop to the floor, no worries. Otherwise, see if you can hold the plank just for a moment, just for a breath. Hug the belly button up and in. Engage the tops of the thighs, lifting toward the bones. And on an exhale, down dog, hips pull back. Hands are pressing forward. Dangle your heavy head. Pedal out the knees if you like. Wiggle the hips if you like. Feel how this shape feels. How does the breath feel? Is it still flowing smoothly and evenly? How's your energy level today? You always want to work with what you've got, what's going on, right? Each day is different, and the yoga is going to meet you where you are. All right, let's lift the heels off the mat, both of them. Bend both knees, pull the hips back away from the hands, look forward and inhale, and slowly walk up to the front of your yoga mat, as many steps as you need. Heart is going to lift on an inhale. If you're not ready for it, just take your time. And then fold forward as you exhale. Drop your head, drop your hands. I like bent knees here so it's not tugging on the hamstrings. You might want to sway a little. Keep the heels a little heavy. Start to bend both knees. We're going to come to the chair pose, but we're going to do it gently. So first, hands to the thighs. Prop up your heart. Lift your head. I'm sure it's getting a little wonky. Sorry. Roll the shoulders back and down and hug the belly button back. And then see if you can shift the weight into your heels and lift all 10 toes. And maybe your hips are high away from the floor. Maybe you're sinking lower. Gauge how much you want in each pose by gauging your breath. Right? If you want a little more, arms lift. Breathe. You can always come out early. One more inhale if you're with us. And then press to standing on the exhale. Take the hands right to the heart center prayer pose. Shoulders heavy and down. Belly hugs back. Press the feet evenly against the floor and just take a steady, soft gaze forward. And feel your whole body here. Feeling a little bit of balance, how the weight shifts from foot to foot. How the breath gently flows in and out. You might set an intention for your practice this morning. If there's something that you know you'd like to release, or something that you know you'd like to gain from this. Maybe a little of both. As you inhale next, hands lift, little stretch. And then fold in half, exhale. Lift the heart as you inhale, come to the flat back with bent knees. And then step the left foot to the back of the mat. Yeah, we're not even going to lower down into the cobra just yet. You can wiggle the right foot over to the right. You can use a block under your left hand if you like. Sweep the right arm back and up. And then notice what's happening with the right hip and the right foot. Can you press into the right big toe? Can you hug the right hip back and engage the back leg? Can you spread the right hand, the lifted hand, really wide? Take a big breath. And then right hand comes back to the floor outside the right foot. So pause here. You're going to look forward. You're going to take a little bend in the back knee. And then if you need to step the back foot halfway forward first, do. And then you're going to lift the back foot all the way up. So the hands might come a little forward and the back foot lifts up. So you're in vertical splits. Drop your heavy head. This standing knee can be as bent as you want. This right hip hugs back a little bit still. One more breath here. And then bend the lifted knee and take the left foot to the floor. Good. Lift the heart, flat back, inhale. And then fold forward, exhale. Hands to the floor, second side. We'll take a big step back with the right foot. You can wiggle the left foot over so you have a nice wide base side to side between the feet. A block can come under the right hand or not. Maybe you're on the fingertips, maybe the palm's flat. Left hand sweeps back and up. And this bottom right shoulder, slide it down the back. Hug this bent left hip back a little, press into the left big toe. Engage the back thigh. It wants to kind of fall toward the floor, doesn't it? Spread through the left fingers, keep the breath flowing. Take a nice, sweet, generous breath in. And then left hand back to the floor. All right, we're going to bend the back knee. You can launch it right up to vertical splits, Or you can step it up first. Take as many steps as you need. Fingers forward is going to help you. Drop your head. You're only lifting that back foot as high as you want. Left hip, standing leg hugs back. One breath. Bend the lifted leg and take the right foot back to the floor. Good job. Inhale, flat back. And then we'll step it back to plank pose. Hands on the floor, step back, plank. Pause. Remember, knees can come down. It's all good. Belly hugs in. And now we'll go through a little cobra. So pressing the floor as you inhale, lowering maybe knees first and then chest to the floor as you exhale. And then rolling up to a gentle cobra. Inhale, forehead stays soft, and down dog, exhale. Good job. Any wiggling with the hips or pedaling with the knees or wiggling with the head is always welcome, right? Whatever you need to do to stay in your body so that you get out of your thinking mind. All right. We're going to bend the knees, look forward on an inhale, and walk up to the front of your mat again. Exhale. Flatten the back as you inhale, shoulders loop back, and fold in half. Exhale. So fingers on the floor, bending the knees. We're going to step that left foot back again. So right foot stays forward. And this time, instead of wiggling the right foot over to the right, we're going to pivot the back heel down. So the whole back foot is flat on the floor, but the toes angle to the top left corner of your mat. So you can keep your right hand on the floor or a block outside the foot, or you can take the elbow, forearm up to the thigh, which is a lot sweeter. Sweep that left arm back and up. Good. Just take a look at the right knee and make sure it's right over the heel so that the knee stays safe. The back leg is strong and engaged. The left fingers are spread. The right hand, if your forearm's on the leg, relax it. It kind of wants to grip, doesn't it? The bottom shoulder slides down the back, and then we'll circle this lifted arm. So reaching it back, down, forward. You can linger there if you like, and up, and one more circle. Doing whatever you like with the head. And then the next time this left hand reaches back, take it behind your back. Good. So if the hand was on the floor or block outside the foot, you might want to take it to the inside now. And then roll the left shoulder back. My forearm is on my right thigh. So this bent right hip is going to hug back. And your left ribs are going to try to spin up. And then you can look down at your right toes. Yeah. And then if your hand was on the floor or your elbow's on the leg, see if you can hover it off. And then see if you can reach the right arm forward, palm up. Bend into the front knee, and on an inhale, reach the right hand all the way up to the ceiling, lifting you, and reach it back, reversing your warrior. So back shoulder drops, front knee bends, turn the head side to side if that's nice. Good. And then we're going to come to half moon, you guys, straight from here, so listen up. We're going to take the right arm forward again. We're going to find a gazing point in front of our right toes. You keep that right knee bent and lift the back heel. That's where you start. And then you're going to shift the torso forward. You might need to step the back foot in a little first, right? And then right hand can come toward the floor or on a block as that back left foot lifts up. Just hip height. Whoa. And if you need to take it back down and lift it back up, it's all good. Just keep breathing and smiling. So this left arm can stay behind you as you roll the left shoulder back. When you're ready, you can lift the left hand up. You're going to feel all kinds of wobbling and moving. It's awesome. Keep the breath flowing. See if you can stay calm in the challenge. The standing leg can straighten or bend. It's totally up to you. You find your place. Belly hugs in for support. Start to bend that standing leg. We're going to land back where we were. Left foot to the back of the mat. Reverse your warrior. Inhale. Bend that front knee. Woo. And then circle. Windmill the hands to the front of your yoga mat. Pause. Lift that right hand back up. This is where we began a little bit. Hug the right hip back. Take a breath. And right hand back to the floor. This time we're going to drop the back knee. Should feel good. We're going to release the back toes. We're going to wiggle that right foot over to the right. Let the knee splay out. Let the big toe lift away from the floor. Let the left hip dip a little bit. Tongue twister yoga. Turn the head around, loosen up the neck. If you want to take the right hand to the right thigh and roll the right ribs back, go for it. If you want to take your elbows on the floor, go for it. Breathe. Find your place. And then looking to the front of the mat, we'll take that whole right foot back down, wiggle it toward the midline of your mat. Hands on the floor, right hip is going to shift back. So we just worked this right leg quite a lot. Now we're going to release into the hamstring. So this is where blocks might be really nice if you have a tight right hamstring like I do. Hugging the hip back. On an inhale, you're going to extend the heart a little forward and just fold over your right leg. Drop your head. You can wiggle the foot side to side with flexed toes, and you'll feel all these 3 different hamstring muscles behind that hip, behind that leg, just start to soften and loosen. If you're not feeling enough, you crawl your hands farther forward. If it's too much, hands come back. And breathe. Take a moment just to settle in, to experience and feel, again, without any judgment. We always want to practice with compassion for ourselves. Ahimsa, right? Ahimsa. Non-harming thoughts. Not being critical. All right, let's start to bend that front leg. Hands on either side of the foot. Back toes curl under and back knee lifts. We're going to step it back to the plank. Inhale. Going to lower safely to the floor, maybe knees first. Exhale. Roll up to a gentle cobra. Inhale. And the down dog is your exhale. And breathe. You might pedal out the knees. You might notice that there's a different sensation now in each hip. Just exploring, right? Just noticing. Breathe, let yourself soften and settle. Let yourself come back to this moment. What just happened is all done. It's gone. What's gonna happen hasn't happened yet. So we have no idea about what it's gonna be until we're in the experience, right? So just be right here in this breath. When you're ready, lift your heels, bend your knees, and look forward. Inhale. Walk to the top of your mat as you exhale. Lifting the heart as you inhale, shoulders loop back. And fold forward, exhale, drop your head, bending the knees, maybe a sway. And then we're gonna take the right toes all the way to the back of the mat, right? So you don't have to wiggle your left foot over to the left. You're gonna pivot that back heel down, and the back right toes point to the top right corner of your mat. So the foot is at an angle. Yeah, and maybe the left fingers stay on the floor outside the foot or a block. Right hand can sweep back and up. Or maybe you back off a little and take the elbow onto the thigh. Like, even if you can do the deeper version of the pose, is it the best choice? Right? Where can you be so there's a little more freedom, a little bit more spaciousness, a little bit more softness so you're not overdoing? Spread through the right fingers. Relax this bottom hand if the arm is on the leg, and take a circle or 2 with this right arm. If you want to linger with the stretch forward, go for it. If you want to turn the head around, go for it. And the next time the right hand reaches back, you're going to take it behind your back. And the bent hip, that left hip, hug it back. Roll the right ribs, the right shoulder up, right? So this is preparing you for the half moon. The hip is turning down slightly, but the heart is turning up slightly. And then you can look down at the floor. So you might want to take the hand, if it was on the floor block, inside here, just to, find that balance. You might want to start to hover the hand or elbow off the thigh and reach forward. If it's too much, then you don't, right? Keep the breath flowing, determine. And then on a big inhale, this left hand lifts straight up, helping you rise. And reach it back, reversing your warrior. Keep the front knee bent, let the heart spin up, drop the back shoulder, keep the breath flowing. You can always release the back arm, right? You find your place. And we're gonna make our way toward the half moon really slowly. So left hand comes forward, palm up. Take a look at the front foot. Turn your gaze a little bit past the toes, maybe 12 or 15 inches or so. If you're in meters, sorry, I'm not quite sure. Lift the back heel to start. Maybe step the foot in a little first, right? You don't have to launch. Take it slow. Left fingers come to the floor or hovering or to a block as that back foot floats up just hip height. You want to turn the toes slightly down. So again, the hip rolls slightly forward, but the right ribs roll slightly upward. And whenever you're ready, release the bound arm. play with how straight or bent you want the standing leg. Feel all this movement in balance. If you come out, if you fall, just keep breathing and smiling. You're just exploring. You're challenging yourself mostly to stay calm when things get difficult. Can you imagine how much that helps in your life? Keep the breath flowing, hug the belly button in, and we're going to come back to the previous pose slowly and gracefully. I say that, I don't know if I'll do that, but that's the intention. So as the front knee bends, the back foot drops, you're back to reverse warrior. Inhale, make it feel really nice, and windmill the hands to the front of your mat. Exhale. Pause, lift the back heel, lean into the right hand, and float the left hand up. Right, so you're back into that twist. Left hip hugs back, left big toe presses against the floor. We'll just take an inhale here. And then release your left hand down, release your right back knee down. Pause, you might want to release the toes. Wiggle the front foot over to the left. Maybe off the mat, maybe the toes turn off the mat. Maybe the inner big toe lifts. Maybe you're on the outer edge of the foot, so this right hip can just dip and soften, and the shoulders can slide down. You can wiggle around the head. You can, again, come to your elbows. If you want, you can lean into the right hand, take the left hand to that left leg to roll the left ribs back. What can you do to make this feel really sweet for yourself? Keep the breath flowing. When you're ready, wiggle that left foot back toward the midline of your mat, hand outside of it. And then we're going to shift the hip back. You might need to wiggle your heel a little forward, lifting the toes. You're going to hug the hip back and inhale the heart forward. So you want a little extension through the spine here. And then go ahead and round and fold and drop your head and determine if you want your hands to come farther forward or farther backward, or maybe they're on blocks. Again, you can wiggle the flexed foot side to side, finding all those different sensations behind the leg. You can wiggle around the head. Keep the breath flowing and just explore. What are you feeling right here, right now? How's this moment? What can you do to make it sweeter for yourself? You're in charge. You're in total control. We can't change external circumstances, right? But we can always change how we respond to the circumstances and situations in our life. So everything is a matter of our perception. If you look for the good, you're going to find it. If you look for the bad, you're going to find it. So let's start to crawl the hands forward here, bend the front knee, back toes curl under, lift the back knee, and we'll step it back to plank pose. Take an inhale when you get there. Lower slowly and safely as you exhale. Rolling up to a gentle cobra. Inhale. And back to your down dog. Exhale. All right. Notice the hips. Maybe wiggle around. Do they feel a little more even? Is there still any unevenness? Just noticing, right? It's all good. Breathe. Draw the hips back, press the hands forward, dangle your head. Good, and then we're going to drop the knees to the floor. We're going to crawl forward with the knees so that we can come back onto our backs. It's only a 45-minute practice, and we want to stretch it out a little bit now. Cool. All right, so I think the last couple of classes I taught with you guys, we didn't have enough time in Shavasana. We're going to have enough time in Shavasana today, I promise. So give your knees a little hug, a little rock side to side, let your head rock if that's nice. Wiggle around your feet if that's nice. Yeah. So good. We're going to take both feet onto the floor. Hips distance apart, nice and parallel. We're going to open up the arms by our sides, palms up, and we're just going to start to slope the tailbone up, lifting the hips slowly as high as you like. So the hips lift, the low back lifts, the middle back lifts perhaps. The upper back might lift if you want to interlace your hands underneath you there and walk your upper arms a little closer together. You want to free up the neck. So the tendency here often is that the knees splay apart, right? We want to keep the knees stacked over the heels, pressing into those big toe mounds. Free up the throat, soften the face and forehead and third eye area, eyebrows. You might even smile. It's never about how far you go. It's not about how high you lift the hips. It's about the sensations along the way. What's appropriate? Let your belly receive and release your breath. The lungs love this pose. They get a lot more oxygen. And we'll take one more nice sweet inhale. Relax as you exhale. Begin to separate your shoulder blades. Unlace your hands if they were under you. And we're going to lower down just as slowly, vertebra by vertebra. Upper back, middle back, low back landing last. And when the low back settles, let it settle. Give it a moment. Feel the effects of that. Okay. And then we're going to thread the needle. So right ankle bone can cross. Right toes are going to stay flexed to protect that knee like we did in the beginning. Maybe you're here. Maybe you're hovering the left foot off the floor. Maybe you're clasping the hands behind the hamstring or shin. Again, back of the neck long, shoulders soft. For those of you that missed the beginning, we started here, and now we're coming full circle back to the shape so that we can feel if there's any difference, and not that there needs to be, right? You're just noticing, again, without judging. Maybe it's all the same. Maybe it's tighter. Who knows? Just notice. How does it feel? Can you breathe smoothly and deeply? Letting the breath help you link into the body. One more inhale. You can hug the lifted foot as much as you like toward you, or lifted leg as much as you like toward you. And then release it and uncross and recross. Left ankle bone is going to cross. Lifting the right foot off the floor if that's where you want to be here. Maybe not. Maybe hugging the leg toward you. You just want to keep the top foot flexed again to protect that knee. So chin a little to the chest. Top and bottom teeth separate so that we're not pulling tension into the jaw or face. Eyes close and soften. Feel how your breath smoothly and effortlessly flows in and out of your nose. It's one of the greatest techniques that we have to calm our nervous system and heal our bodies. It's the only part of our autonomic nervous system that we have control over. So nice. Release the right leg, uncross the left ankle. Same thing, we'll wiggle the feet together like we did in the beginning. Drop the knees apart. You can stretch the arms overhead if it's nice. Let the ribs lift, let the belly expand, let the inner shoulders relax. And just let that belly fill up with breath. And as you exhale, I want you to hug the belly in so you feel a little core support before you draw the knees up together. Good. And then when the knees come together, we'll wiggle the feet apart this time. Let the inner knees knock or touch, arms open, and then both knees over to the left. And this is not only going to get you a little twist, but also this hard to reach area in the outer hip. So you can turn the gaze to the right. Breathe. Let the right ribs soften. Let yourself settle. Let yourself sink back into your mat. And on an exhale, the belly hugs in to take the knees up. All right, so we want to use the core to lift the knees, not the low back. And again, if you need to readjust, readjust. Feet wide, knees knock together, and knees over to the right. Turning the gaze to the left if you like. Feeling something. Perhaps in that left hip, maybe you're feeling it somewhere else. Just noticing. You don't want any tweaking or pain in the knees here, so feel free to readjust if you need to. Notice how the exhales help you soften, help you sink back and let go. And then on your next exhale, belly hugs in to lift the knees back up. Good. When the knees come together, bring the feet together. Draw the knees into the chest. Let's take a last little happy baby here. Hands to the edges of the feet or behind the thighs if that's nicer. Shoulders heavy, back of the neck long. You can rock your baby if that's nice. And then let the legs open out. Let's just open into those inner thighs. I like to support my outer legs with my hands. Some people take the hands to the inner thighs. Whatever feels nicest for you. You can flex the feet or roll around the ankles. Again, back of the neck long. The exhale lifts the feet back up. So belly hugs in and exhale the feet up toward the ceiling and then knees to the chest. All right, you guys, let's take a circle with the knees, big or small in both directions. Good job. And then go ahead and lift your nose to your knees. Wrap your arms around your legs. Give yourself a hug and a squeeze. You've done it. Big inhale. Appreciate yourself. And then open into your Shavasana. Yay. Let your legs splay open. Let your arms splay open. Close your eyes. Let them soften. Separate the top and bottom teeth. Close your lips if you like. Let go of any effort now. You've moved a lot. You've done a lot. Let yourself absorb all of the goodness of your practice here and receive the healing benefits. And please stay in Shavasana. Don't take it for granted. It's the most important part of your practice. Allow things to settle. Allow your body to settle, your breath to settle back to its natural pace and rhythm. And in doing so, and in noticing how soft you can become, the mind will settle as well. Give yourself this gift of this time, just being and not having to do anything but completely relax. You're beginning to play out some future event or replaying something from the past. Just notice that without judging it. And come back to the sensations you're feeling right here and right now. The softness of your body against the hard surface you're resting on. The softness of the eyes and all the muscles surrounding the eyes. The tongue. The soft whisper of breath as it flows in and out through your nose. Imagine that you could feel your heart beating, and maybe you can. Notice where you feel the breath. Maybe it's in the nose, maybe it's in the throat or the chest or the abdomen. And just let your awareness rest on the sensations of your breath. And you notice that if a thought takes you away from the breath, it changes the flow of breath. Notice and return to the breath. Let it flow smoothly. There's no effort. A gentle mental scan from head to toe and notice if you're holding tension anywhere at all that you can let go. And see if you can appreciate yourself in this moment. Appreciate the benefits you derive from practicing yoga on and off your mat. The benefits you derive from getting to know your body and mind more intimately. Be grateful for each sweet breath that you get to take. Be grateful if you can for how you feel right now, right here. For this time that you've carved out for yourself. So that you bring some calm, ease, resilience into the world with you, into your experiences and relationships with you. Put a little smile on your face. Appreciate yourself. You deserve it. Take a nice deep breath of appreciation in. And let it go. Let yourself relax. You can stay here as long as you like. Or you can stretch your arms overhead, stretch your feet forward if they're not, and take a little sweet stretch from hands to heels. You might want to sway a little side to side like we did in the beginning. You can bend your knees, take the feet to the floor and rock over to one side so that you can press yourself up. Oh, good, we did well on time. So take your time transitioning from your mat back to seated, back to your day.